This video is going to run you through exercises that you can do right away after you have an ankle injury. So grab yourself a seat, get yourself a stool. I grabbed myself a yoga block. Also, make sure to grab yourself a hand towel like this and a very easy thin resistance elastic therapy band. Now, when you do this, you're going to think of using your big toe as a piece of chalk to write the capital letters of the alphabet. It's important here that you do this in pain-free ranges of motion. You want to just keep the ankle mobilized, help to pump out swelling, help to control the pain, but you can only do that if you are moving in a pain-free range of motion. So it's very normal for the foot to feel tight and for your skin to feel tight because of the stretching and the inflammation inside of the ankle right now. So do your best, exaggerate the motion as much as you can, obviously in that pain-free range. Making sure to do all the letters. Now, if I'm going too fast for you, that's the beauty of doing this at home. You can go at your own pace. You can pause the video whenever you need to. You can skip over exercise that may be too difficult for you. You can increase the difficulty of exercises that may be too easy for you, just to name some examples. Almost done. X, Y, and Z. All right. Now, for the next one, grab yourself the hand towel now that your ankle is a little bit more warmed up. We're going to work on the musculature in the bottom of the foot as well, not just the ankle. We want to pump the swelling out from all over. Now, you're going to crawl up the towel with your toes as I'm showing with my fingers here. So you're going to scrunch your toes and try to work from one end of the towel to the other, really working the arch muscles on the bottom of the foot. Again, when you injure your ankle, we start to lose the different musculature. They start to atrophy as we don't weight bear because we cannot. So what we do want to do is try to maintain the health and the size of those muscles and the strength of those muscles as much as we reasonably can in this rehabilitation process. And you're also going to try to crawl and push the towel away. This will help to work the musculatures and the tendon on top of the foot. So two birds with one stone here. Traditionally, this exercise is done just for the focus underneath the foot, but I thought, hey, let's work both. Again, do this if it's pain-free. This is a relatively straightforward and easy enough exercise as it's not focusing on actual ankle movement, just focusing on the arch support so the ankle can be supported, especially when you recover, to help prevent ankle injuries in the future. Go at your own pace. Remember to breathe. And remember that you can pause this video at any time if needed. Now try to pick the towel up with your toes. So scrunch it up and lift the towel up. Now I'm on a very low stool here. So for you, if you're sitting on a normal chair, you won't have to lift your leg or your knee up to the ceiling as high as I'm demonstrating here. So just keep that in mind. Just lift it a few inches off the floor, just so that you're working that musculature underneath the foot. And if your foot is starting to cramp, just give yourself a break. Move on to the next exercise, because once your muscles start to cramp, you have about a 300% chance of that happening again. And I know it's quite a big number. That's what studies are showing. It's not necessarily a lack of water or magnesium or potassium. So just keep that in mind, that you just have to let your muscles rest, move on to the next exercise. And now, utilizing the towel, we're going to gently work on that plantars flexion and dorsiflexion. So we're using the towel via our knee to slide our foot as much as we can in both directions. So going and trying to lift the toes to our nose as best we can with all pain-free, bending the knee and trying to get the ankle to bend as much as we can in pain-free range of motion. It's all about the pain-free, because right now you just injured your ligaments. So that means you have tears in them. So you don't want to stress the tears more. You want the ligament to heal in the position that it is so that it can get as tight as possible. You don't want to keep re-injuring it. So imagine you have a cut on your arm. Well, you're not going to stretch the skin around it and move the tissue around it. You're going to let that heal, right? You're not just going to keep re-injuring the wound. So that is why it's very crucial to do everything in a pain-free range of motion. And at the same time, the reason why we want to move is to maintain the musculature health, but also the inflammation. How to get rid of that is through a passive system via the contraction of the musculature. The lymph nodes are squished by the muscle contraction and relax at the release of the muscle. And we need that to help pump the swelling out. So that's why it's important, one of the reasons. So get that stool back, or in my case, the yoga block, and apply that therapy band right underneath the ball of the foot, underneath the toes. Remember that you can control the resistance of the band by where you grab on the elastic. So if you want more tension, grab lower down the band. If you want less tension, then grab higher up towards the ends of it. Again, just do the range of motion that you can. Keep in mind, I did not injure my ankle. So my range of motion is going to obviously be a lot different compared to yours right now, since you just injured your ankle. And notice how I'm working my toes. So I'm pointing my toes down and I'm resisting the elastic from pulling me up. So resist the elastic from pulling you up. This is just now pumping further up the calf to help bring that swelling up. Now I'm going to leave in the comment section below that if you have a lot of swelling right now, you're actually going to do all these exercises lying down with your foot elevated against the wall. Therefore, gravity will be on your side to help promote this inflammation reduction. Now cross your leg over. Grab the band and we're going to work the top of the foot. So we're going to work on the tibialis anterior, which is the muscle in the shin. It's where people tend to get their shin splints around this area. That is the tibialis anterior muscle that we're working on. It's important to work on this muscle because a lot of people forget about it, but this muscle helps to support the bottom of the arch. So it's a key component in rehabbing the foot after an ankle injury. So bringing the toes up and down. So essentially, you're trying to bring your toes towards your knee. Bring them up and control that movement back down. Bring your toes up, control the movement back down. For the next angle, grab that stool again, or in my case, the yoga block. Use your other foot to press on the inside of your foot, and we're going to work ankle eversion, where I'm bringing my toes outwards and controlling the movement back in. Bring the movement out, controlling the movement back in. It's working the outside of the leg. So here's the other angle. I'm controlling the movement in. So that is the one where on most people they're going to injure the outer part of the ankle. So moving out will be okay, but you want to be very cautious on how quickly you let your foot go in. You just want to control the movement. Sometimes people with freshly injured ankles are very, very shaky on this movement. So this again just helps to work the muscles and just makes all the weaknesses now visible. And just switch things around. Cross your foot over like so to work foot inversion now. So your toes will go inward again. Keep very close attention with how much you allow this inversion, as this will be sensitive right now if you've injured the outside of your ankle, because you're going to be promoting stretching of those ligaments. So just do what you can, and you guessed it, a pain-free range of motion. So slowly control that movement. It's all about control. It's all about as much pain-free range of motion as you can. And it's about taking the necessary breaks that you need so that you can make sure your recovery and rehabilitation is as quick as possible. When you give yourself pain or you're walking on your foot too early, you're potentially promoting very bad habits and actually increasing the amount of time it takes you to recover. And release. Control back down, release the elastic band. And moving on to lateral shifts. So you're just going to switch back and forth between toes and heels, toes and heels. Again, within a pain-free range. This is sort of getting your feet used to weight bearing again. This is allowing your ankle, which also has the ability, like we just practiced with the elastic band, to invert and evert. So it doesn't just point and flex your foot also moves in eversion and inversion. So this allows you to practice these sorts of ranges of motion in a very controlled, slow, and safe manner. So do this as much as you can, either way, as slow as you need to, and at whatever pace. And if it feels better for you to just do one foot at a time because it just feels too weird to do it with a good foot and then your not so good foot, you can do that as well. Put your good foot up on a stool and just focus on your affected ankle at this time. Just a good one to finish off with, as it works all the different angles, all the different muscles that we slowly began to warm up throughout this video. And as you get better and better at this, you can even do this standing up as well once your ankle becomes better and stronger with less inflammation in it. Try to raise up on your toes as best you can and slowly lowering down. Practicing rising up, especially through that big toe, because we want to keep and maintain that big toe push off. The natural cycle of the foot when we walk is striking with the heel, rolling over, and then pushing off with the big toe. So don't just allow yourself to push off with your pinky toe. Try to push and rise onto your toe, especially pushing through the big toe. Again, cautious with that range of motion, always in pain-free. And finally, we're going to see how good your toe coordination is. So just lift your big toes, place it down, and then lift the rest of your toes. And place those down. So just big toes, down, and lift the rest of your toes. Down. And slowly, as you get the hang of it, go a little bit faster. So this is great for the arch of your foot. This is great for pumping out inflammation. This is great to re-establish that neurological connection from your brain to your feet. Again, start to speed up as you get better. But if you're struggling with this, just take your time. If you can't even lift your big toe, then just work on lifting your big toes for this session. And then if you can't lift the rest of your second, third, fourth, and fifth toes, and just work on that the next session until you can start to shift back and forth as I am demonstrating right now. It takes practice, but this really helps, especially along the rehabilitation journey. And that's it for today's video. So take your time, follow the rice, follow pier, rest your ankle, elevate it, ice, compression, whatever you feel most comfortable doing or whatever your therapist has recommended for you to do. And you can complete this video daily if you need to. So if you have any comments, questions for me, please leave that in the comments below. And if you have any requests of videos you want to see me release in the future, also leave that in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because when you do, you'll be notified as soon as I release one of your requested videos. Thank you so much for all your guys' support on this journey. I'm so excited to be a part of your health.